Today's show is sponsored by the multiorgasmicmama.com. If lack of confidence, low libido, or guilt and shame around your sexuality are the cause of your bedroom woes, the hot wild sex you never have anymore, or the transition into motherhood that sucked your libido dry, let me help you get your mojo and magnetic feminine spark back. Magic, miracles, total self-love, and multi-orgasmic bliss included. See you at themultiorgasmicmama.com. What's up, hot mamas? It's Tilly Storm here, and today I have a very special episode to share with you on how to go from feeling numb, disconnected, totally disembodied, not able to feel what's in your body, not feeling safe to feel anything in your body, being in your head all of the time, feeling like you're in a complete sexual freeze, to being fully sensually embodied. And today I brought on a very special guest, Irene, who was a member of our February 2020 round of the Sensually Embodied Woman program, who had a very interesting experience in the program. She was super resistant to many of the practices, was a little skeptical of the jade egg practice, totally did not want to do the jade egg practice. She even says in the podcast, like, if this were just a jade egg program, I would have never have done it. But today I brought her on to share with you her experience of what it was like and what the transformation and the shifts that happened, what she had to do, what really occurred to get her from being completely in this numb, disconnected, shut down, freeze response sexually to being fully sensually embodied. And another thing is that she also wanted me to add to this podcast episode. She sent me a voice message afterwards after we recorded it. And she's like, you can't forget to tell them, Tilly, that when I first signed up for the program, one thing that I wanted more than anything was to be able to take a vacation with my husband, to just be able to get away from all of the kids. She has 5 kids. She is a stepmom and mom of 5 children. So a busy, busy woman. And she just wanted nothing more than to be able to get away. And she messaged me literally just like half an hour ago. And she's like, I just tell them that I am at the point now where I feel like I don't even need a vacation, because I'm so able to be in the present moment and actually enjoy my life and the pleasures that already exist around me, that, a vacation isn't actually a thing I really wanted. What I really wanted was just to be able to be present and like be here right now, be in my body, be with my family, and just feel happy. And yeah, she thought that was super important to share as well. So I want to throw that in here too. All right, here is Irene for you. Hey, Irene, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Tilly?
I am wonderful. I'm so excited to have you on to talk about your experience in the Sensually Embodied Woman program from the February round and all the amazingness that happened for you.
Yes, I'm excited to have this opportunity to reflect on everything and digest it all.
Yeah, amazing. So go ahead and tell us, what were you most struggling with when you signed up for this program? Like, what were you wanting to get out of this?
I think the biggest thing was definitely struggling with feeling things in my body. So I had done a lot of personal development work, even like therapy and coaching. And there were still certain areas of my life where when you asked me how does that feel, I just couldn't feel into my body at all. And I just felt really numb and didn't allow myself to go to those like really sad feelings or those really, really happy feelings. I was sort of in this middle ground where it was safe for me to be. And I had this sense that there was something that I needed to heal around my sexuality, but I didn't exactly know what it was. I always, for so many years now, I've thought there were like some kind of repressed memories of sexual abuse or something that explained sort of the way that I was, but I couldn't remember it and I couldn't put my finger on it. And I wanted to break through and heal that, because it was really blocking me and showing up in so many areas of my life, not just sexually. For me, it was more not about the sex, but about connecting with my kids and playing with them and being in my pleasure in general, not just sexual pleasure. So that's what really attracted me to this work, just being able to be more present in my body. And the embodiment stuff is something that I've never done before. And I knew that I just felt it, that's what I needed. to heal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you are a stepmom and mom of 5 kids. Oh my God.
Yes. And one of them is still breastfeeding. So, I mean, it might not have been the perfect timing to do this work. Like, if you look at it from, I don't know, an outside in perspective, but I just felt like now was the time. I felt like now was the time that I needed to do this. I don't know why. It was just like a calling that I couldn't silence, and I had to do it.
Yeah. And what were you experiencing with like sexual desire and sex with your partner at the time? Was it just kind of like, eh? Did it feel sure, or were you not having sex at all, or what was that like for you?
Uh, we were having sex not very frequently, and I didn't feel desire. Like, I didn't feel turned on, excited anymore, and not just in my sex life, but in various areas of my life, my business, my work, my role as a mom. Like, just I was just turned off of life, I guess, in so many ways. And so I was just kind of going with the motions and doing things just to do them, but not because I wanted to or because I felt like it. And I felt like in my mind I was being like forced kind of to do these things, but it was all like in my mind I was being forced. Like, nobody was actually forcing me. I was putting that on myself, and I didn't have that self-awareness to know that that was what was going on. I just knew that something was off.
Yeah. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, what were, in your opinion, the biggest results that you got from being in this program during the middle of a global pandemic? And why do you think that was like the best time to have gone through this?
Oh my gosh. It would have been so much easier to go through this pandemic numb, because I mean, it's like an escape, right? You don't have to deal with what's happening. You just numb out and just go with the motions, and that would have been so much easier. But I think now that I did this healing work during a global pandemic, where like your safety is being questioned, it's not just in your head. I went to really, really low and dark places during the program, which I would never be able to get through without the support of you and the women in the program. And I think that the pandemic just amplified everything. Like, the feelings got so much darker, and then like I was really like up and down, and I felt like I've never felt that intense in my life, like the lows and the highs, and having a group to help me through that. Like, I would have never, ever, ever been able to do that on my own. And I would have just gone through it numb, and nothing would have changed. And maybe it would have gotten worse, right? Like, because the numbness is just denying your feelings, and it's not being true to who you are. It's not allowing yourself to be. And that's what I really learned throughout the program, is honoring myself, my no, my yes. I didn't even know, like, it's about boundaries really, but, and I did work on boundaries in the past, but never on like sexual boundaries, and how it really is, like you say, the root sort of everything. And once you heal that, so many other things just fall into place, because those are the core issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, like, just allowing myself to say no and to be negative, because I'm always like the one that tries to fix everything, the one that steps up, the one that, even if it's not my problem, I take responsibility to fix it and to make it better. And having a space just to be negative, like, I find a lot of the groups that I'm a part of and the communities I'm a part of, they don't allow you to be negative. They don't allow negative posts. And I needed that. I needed other women to hold me and let me know that it was okay for me to be that way, because I didn't accept that part of myself. And so when other people like heard me being negative and stepped up to support me, that gave me permission to love myself through that as well, and not just deny that part of me. And I'm a true believer, and I always say, like, feel it to heal it, but I wasn't really feeling it. I wasn't allowing myself to go there. And I didn't have the support to allow myself to go there, because I couldn't have gotten through this alone. Like, I couldn't have allowed myself to be negative and loved myself anyway, but you all did. And and that, like, it was exactly what I needed.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just having that space to be all of who you are and to be accepted and loved in all of your expressions. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
I say it all the time on the podcast, and anybody that I talk to about joining the program, is that the two things that it takes to really heal and transform in a person's life are other women to see you through the process, and then a guide that knows what the fuck they're doing.
Yes.
Someone to actually guide you on the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And for you, it's like just having that support of other women to be there and hold you and love you and all of who you are, not just for the fun, loving, positive parts, is the biggest game changer right there for so many people. Because love is the greatest healer.
Yes, that is true. So true. Yeah. And it, like, my intention at the beginning of the year was connection, deep healing, and pleasure. And your program, like, when I found your program, well, I don't know, it just kind of stumbled upon me, I guess. I knew, like, wow, that's exactly what I'm looking for right now. And it just made so much sense. And I mean, we've had a session before, like, years ago, but it wasn't the right time for me. Like, I didn't feel that pull to do this work like I do now. And I mean, there was a lot of resistance to get over, because this was so far out of my comfort zone. Like the jade egg thing, if you would have just said I have a jade egg course, I would have never bought into a jade egg course. For me, like, that's like a weird thing, right? I'm sure it is for many women. And that was something, like, I'm not sure if I want to do the jade egg part. But that was sort of what broke down my walls, and it helped me, like, get to those depths that I needed to get to, if that makes sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense probably until you experience it, but I was so resistant. And, like, the first time we did the jade egg practice, I broke down in tears, because I had all these, like, thoughts about, am I doing it right? And it's just, like, brings up memories from like your past sexual encounters, I guess. And for me, I know I'd mentioned, like, at the beginning, I thought that I had repressed memories, like, from sexual abuse or something, and it wasn't. That wasn't the case at all. It turned out that, like, the memories that I had were my memories, but I just wasn't allowing myself to feel the full experience of what had happened. So for me, it was a lot about, like, consenting when I wasn't a yes, when I was really a no, when my body didn't want it. And I'd never, like, nobody ever teaches you that stuff. Nobody ever teaches you how to even tune in to if your body's a yes or a no. And I mean, when I heard you talk about it, it was, like, weird. It was so weird. Like, does your pussy want it? I would never talk like that. Like, that's not, that was just weird to me, and I didn't get it, but now I do. Like, but it's not like a vulgar, like, I don't know. It's not a vulgar thing. It's a beautiful thing when you can learn to tune into your body and your energy, and be able to honor what it is that you want to express. And now that I'm able to do that, or I'm starting to, at least, I can teach my girls that. And I have been throughout the program. Like, I've been, like, talking to them about consent and things that wouldn't have, like, conversations that wouldn't have happened otherwise. Like, my preteen stepdaughter is being helped through this program indirectly. And I think it's such a beautiful thing when you can teach your kids what you didn't learn in ways that are, like, healthy and body positive, and that it's okay, and that, like, you can celebrate having your period, and you can celebrate, like, these things that society kind of shuns and quiets and teaches you are bad and wrong. And
Yeah. And I wanna ask you more about how much we had to celebrate your no before you ever became a yes. Because that's such a big thing for you, just not it's just decades of like not honoring your no, and how much of the program that it was about for you, just honoring the fact that you were a no.
hmm yeah, the whole program basically till the very end, like the very like second last day. Oh my gosh. And it was really hard because I could not honor my no. That was the big issue, right? I could not honor my no. And I thought it was about other people not honoring my no, but it was really about me not honoring my no and not being okay with it and being impatient. And I mean, in order to work through it, you have to accept it. And I couldn't accept it for the longest time. And I didn't get it that's what it took until like the very end. And I thought I would be ending the program on a bad note. And something shifted with the last jade egg session. And I was finally able to like be a full yes and initiate sex with my husband from that place of being a full yes, which is something that hadn't happened for many, many years. And it was amazing. I don't know. What else can I say? It just felt like the first like few months that we were together, when I was just like me and honoring myself and honoring the way that I was completely. And I was able to get to a point through the program, like, but at the very end, where I felt like I accepted all of me, like I was able to honor all of those parts of myself. And so I felt like my husband did too. And yeah, I think I was projecting a lot of my own insecurities onto him and how he viewed me, but it was really the other way around. Like it was really about me working through my stuff so that he could see me for who I was, instead of me like putting up all those self-critical masks and blaming him for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when you were finally able to honor and celebrate your own no, you were able to find a full body yes to
Mm-hmm.
fun and pleasure and sex. And your husband was able to accept all of who you are, and you felt celebrated and honored by
Yes.
him.
Yes. Exactly.
More than you had in 6 years.
Yeah. Yep. That is true.
Epic. Okay. And could you just share with us, there was another thing that you haven't talked about yet.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell us about some things that you manifested during this time too?
Oh, right. Yes. So that was one of the things I had written down. When I first was contemplating joining the program, there were financial barriers, and I wasn't sure that I would be able to pay for it all. So I went on the payment plan and trusted that the finances would work themselves out. Although I had my doubts, but you were able to help me through a lot of the financial blocks as well. And it's like you say, when you work through your sexuality stuff, it just opens everything else up, like the finances, like everything. And I was able to manifest so many different like little, they weren't little, they were big miracles along the way.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of them were thanks to COVID too, like government help for families, job opportunities, more work coming my way. And yeah, I don't know what else can I say about that. It's huge. Like, it's not like that kind of stuff happens to me all the time. And even like a job opportunity that in this pandemic, a job opportunity came to me. I was not looking for it. So that was, those are huge things. Huge. Like when you unblock your energy, things flow to you. And that's a huge thing that I learned through this process, is giving myself permission to just like wait and just be without forcing things, that was so big for me, because I felt like at the beginning of this pandemic, a lot of the business mentors that I follow were like, oh, step up, be a leader. And it felt very forceful. It felt very like pushing me to do something that I really didn't want to do, that it was a no for me. And that was another way that I wasn't honoring my no. Like, I stepped up and did things that I really didn't feel like doing because other people were pushing me to do it. And so through this process, I was able to just like stop forcing things and give myself permission to just be and tune in and be in this sort of creative void space, and allow myself the luxury of that space to allow what is coming through me to come through, rather than forcing other things and blocking it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when you were able to like let go of trying to force and push and control everything, like literally the same week, this job opportunity came up. It's like
Yes.
an ideal job opportunity with better pay and everything. I was so happy.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Amazing. Okay. And I also I love how much you like, I just want to honor, and for everyone listening, like there's so many of you that are like, oh, I can't afford this right now. I don't have the money for this right now. No one ever has the money for it until they do,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And Anna is like a direct example of that. Like I have invested at least $40,000 in personal development and myself over the past 4 years. And there's not one goddamn time I ever signed up for something and I was like, oh, I totally have the money for this. Let me just pay for
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no, it's just that honoring like what you know you need in the moment, and then trusting that the money's going to come because this is where we're going. This is what we're doing. And for you, it was like, no, I know I needed this. And just the courage that you had to say yes when you didn't have that surety. Like that's not for the faint of heart. You know, it takes a certain type of person to be able to like really put that faith and trust in the universe that like, no, like I am the creator of my own destiny. This is where we're going. This is what we're
Mm-hmm.
doing. Please show up for me. You know, like you have to do your part and then the universe does the rest and it meets you there. But it often is not the other way around.
Exactly. And I mean, you can waste so much time trying to do it yourself. And I mean, there's so many mishaps, like do it yourself mishaps that happen along the way. Like I participated in a lot of do it yourself programs over the years, and some of them led me to results that were like negative, I guess. Things that I could have prevented if I had just invested a little more and had an actual guide along the way. And I think a lot of people don't value the transformation that can happen when you have someone qualified to guide you through. It can happen so much quicker, and it can save you so many years of like agony and and not living to your full potential. And I think that is such a waste of life that, I mean, no amount of money is worth living that way. And yeah, like if you have the commitment and the passion to do this, then it'll happen. Like if you know that it's for you, the universe will support you in doing this work.
Yes.
You just have to trust and surrender.
Yep. Big life lessons there. So what feels possible for you now?
I'm unsure of the exact direction where my life is going, but I know that there's something bubbling up inside of me and I'm really excited about it, but I don't need to know exactly what it is and I don't need to control it. And I can just enjoy the present moment and sink into the pleasure that's available to me in the present moment without having to focus on something else, that focus on some like external possibility in the future. Like right now, what's possible for me is that I can enjoy my time with my kids. Like we had a celebration yesterday as part of my graduation for this program, and I purposely, like, I'm not the type of person to celebrate. I just like move on from one accomplishment to the next, and that's like you're never in the present moment. And so we celebrated that, and we had a little dance party in the basement, and that's what's possible for me now, just enjoying exactly what is. I don't need to focus on other things. And when I do enjoy what is, that just opens up a world of possibilities. Like everything is possible. Anything is possible.
Oh, I love that you had a little dance party with all your family, all 5 of the kids. So amazing to celebrate your progress through this and the huge breakthroughs and shifts that have happened for you. Oh my God, yes to that. So do you have any favorite parts of the Sensually Embodied Woman program that you really enjoyed the most, or did you hate it all? Because I know a lot of it, like, a lot of the people are like, oh, I hate this. Can't believe Tilly's making us do this. But then they do it and they'd be like, okay, I loved it. Or sometimes like I hated it.
No, the worst part, which turned out to be the best, I think, was the womb de-armoring.
Womb
I think that's what it's womb. Yeah. So it was really hard, and it like really cracked something open inside of me that needed healing and needed space. And now that that's been healed, thanks to all the women in the program witnessing that darkness, I guess, and shining a light, I think that's a big part of all the progress that I've made. And I loved the last jade egg session, the very last one. That was just fun, and yeah, it just gave me permission to be in my pleasure, I guess, after all that hard work. I mean, it wasn't all hard work throughout, but I had a lot of resistance to some of the practices, especially the ones near the end, and I'm looking forward to going back and doing them again now that I am in a place of pleasure, because I felt like I wasn't in that place of pleasure to do some of the practices, but now that I am, I can go back and do them again. Yeah. I think, I don't know. That's probably it. Like the worst moment was the best for me because it was the most healing.
Hell yeah. Beautiful. So that's, an example of you going from the path of purification to the path of pleasure, which I've talked about on the podcast before. Sometimes we have to purify all of the shit and really clear that out from body before we can like move into pleasure, move into a yes. So, and you're like such a beautiful example of that process, that you can go from numb and in a total freeze response around your sexuality to like, doing the work, doing the jade egg practices, even though you didn't want to. You're like, oh, I don't even know if I want to do the jade egg, but like that's what it's designed to do. Like if you just trust the process, like it will get you where you want to go eventually.
Yes.
Amazing. So who, in your opinion, should sign up for this program? Or what type of woman should sign up for this program?
Anyone who's feeling like, who's listening to this podcast and is curious by this work, like if you've made it this far into the podcast, there's probably something here that resonates that you need to heal within you, and you can't do that by yourself. Like this is the deepest type of work you can do, and you can't do it without a guide. And I think like for me personally, I can only speak to women like me that are like controlling A-type personalities who are in their heads all the time, are trying to fix everything, are on top of everything, like very responsible, always on, and sometimes like not able to just relax and celebrate and be in their bodies and enjoy. And I mean, I was in a lot of ways, like I love dancing and that was my way of being in my body, but it was still like when you asked me those hard questions, I couldn't give you an answer because I couldn't feel it. And breaking through that just opens up your life to so many possibilities that it's now closed off to. And it's like, it's such a giant energetic shift to everything, to like financial abundance, to pleasure in all aspects of your life. And yeah, if anyone is listening and they got this far, they probably need to book a call with you immediately to explore this a little further. And I mean, yeah, like you're amazing. You're like enough of like a forceful, I don't know. Let me just rephrase that. So you're enough of like pushing someone out of their comfort zone, but in a gentle way that it doesn't feel like a violation, I guess. And you hold that space, that safe space for growth. And you're just like a loving presence throughout this whole process, loving and accepting of everything, even when it's not happy, or when it's not, like when it's resisting your process. I mean, you don't let your ego get in the way of that. You just are present. And yeah, that's exactly what I needed. You're exactly what I needed.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So if you are an absolute fuck yes to what Irene is having, then head to themultiorgasmicmama.com/sensually-embodied-woman and go ahead and book your application call now. Don't worry if you book your call, it's not like an automatic, you're signing up for the program. No, it's just a chance for us to talk and to figure out if this is right for you right now. There's no forcing or pushing you or making you do anything you don't want to do, but you got to start with the call, sweethearts. So love you all so much, hot mamas. And thank you for joining us today here with Irene. Thank you, Irene, for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Last day to sign up for the May 2020 round of the Sensually Embodied Woman program is Thursday, April 29th. So only a couple more days. I opened up some slots in the evenings for those of you that need an evening call. I do not know when the next round will happen, so get your call in now, hot mama, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.